I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's News Update. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu strongly condemned the attack on the American embassy in Ankara, Turkey on Friday in a letter to U.S. President Barack Obama and said, "Our hearts are with the American people." The Prime Minister wrote, "I am shocked by the attack. Such acts of violence remind us of the danger those who courageously represent us abroad are exposed to and the threats on the part of those who oppose freedom." The attack killed 2 people, one of which was a Turkish security guard. The other was the suicide bomber. Several others were wounded. The Anti-Defamation League Friday strongly criticized the newly released UN Human Rights Council fact-finding report on the impact of Israeli settlements on the Palestinians, calling it, quote, "another clear example of the body's institutionalized extreme anti-Israel bias," unquote. ADL National Director Abe Foxman said the report only serves to further discredit the Council and further validates Israel's decision to distance itself from the Council. The report issued on Thursday demanded that Israel immediately withdraw all settlers from the West Bank and called on private companies and governments to terminate all their business interests in the settlements. Foxman said instead of offering practical solutions to help bring Israelis and Palestinians back to peace negotiations, the report's recommendations only further push those chances away. And staying with the ADL, the organization said they were deeply troubled by a recent report that the government of Venezuela is spying on the Jewish community there. Análisis24, an Argentinian website, posted reportedly leaked documents attributed to Venezuela's secret service, SEBIN, containing private information on prominent Venezuelan Jews, local Jewish organizations, and Israeli diplomats in Latin America, pointing to surveillance. ADL National Director Abe Foxman said Venezuela, under the regime of Hugo Chavez, had a history of harassing the Jewish community, and said reports of this kind of surveillance add fuel to an already incendiary atmosphere, inciting prejudice and hate. The ADL called on the Venezuelan government to immediately cease its targeting of the Jewish community. The Jewish Week reports that the National Council of Young Israel voted on Tuesday to amend their constitution, removing a provision which did not allow a synagogue that joined the council to leave the organization if they desired to do so. According to Bob Levy, the board chairman, a newly elected board of directors of the council made this change its top priority when it assumed office back in November. Farley Weiss, the organization's new president, said that before the change, there was a perception of infighting within the NCYI. "I think this decision," he said, "will lay that perception to rest." The issue became a contentious one a few years back when the council considered expelling a synagogue in Syracuse, New York, that was said to owe some $20,000 in unpaid dues. The action was dropped after the synagogue dropped the Young Israel from their name. However, concern remained among synagogues that the Constitution gave the council the power to seize their assets if they ever left the umbrella group. Weiss said everyone's different concerns around the issue were taken into consideration, and the amendment was overwhelmingly passed. The new amendment allows a member congregation to resign after providing written notice, having paid all its dues and other monies owed, and agreeing to immediately cease using the Young Israel name. 10 years ago today, the first Israeli astronaut, Ilan Ramon, died together with his fellow crew members of the Columbia Space Shuttle when it exploded upon re-entry to the Earth's atmosphere on February the 1st of 2003. Ramon was an Israeli fighter pilot in the Israeli Air Force and was the payload specialist on the shuttle. In tribute of this 10th anniversary, Shalom TV will broadcast the 2004 documentary, Columbia, The Tragic Loss, which tells about Ramon's life and tragic death. You can see the broadcast at 8 o'clock tonight and again at 1 o'clock Saturday morning on Shalom TV's live channel and shalomtv.com. We end our newscast today with the sad news that the former mayor of New York City and longtime friend of Shalom TV, Ed Koch, passed away at the age of 88. Koch died in the early hours of Friday morning at New York Presbyterian Hospital of congestive heart failure. The larger-than-life mayor served for 3 terms in the city. He was born in the Bronx in 1924 to Jewish immigrants from Poland. He grew up in Newark, New Jersey, served in the U.S. Army, went to City College, and received his law degree from NYU. Koch became active in New York City politics in the 60s and served as the Democratic U.S. representative from New York's congressional district from 1969 to 1977, when he resigned to become mayor. He remained in the role until 1989. The mayor's funeral will be held on Monday at Temple Emmanuel on New York's Upper East Side. He will be laid to rest in an Upper Manhattan plot that he bought a few years ago to make sure he never left his beloved city. We at Shalom TV will miss him dearly. And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.